Good morning, everyone. We are going to start with Unit 3 now. In Unit 3, we have uh, JDBC connectivity. Basically, every unit is dedicated for one different concept of Java. In one first, we learned event programming, event handling. Second, we learned different swing components. Third one, we are going to learn connectivity between the database and the Java interfaces. Now, when it comes to any real-time applications, there are two ends of it. One is called as front end and second is called as back end. Front end is the one to which user interacts. Clear? So, and it is expected to be colorful and then little attractive and user friendly. It should be easy to understand. That's why we saw we can do programs even in C. You did programming even with data structures. You did programming even with normal Java, console-based Java, and also swing-based Java. Of course, swing programming to code, it is little difficult, but to see the output of applet that it asks you to, okay, even that basic calculator, isn't it easy? I mean, for the user, forget about you as a programmer. If somebody executes that program, it becomes so easy. So that's why front end is expected to be user friendly and attractive. Back end is supposed to store large amount of data. That's why there are various categories of two different categories of applications. To store the data, you know, you are learning in this semester only DBMS, Database Management System. These are the software which are specialized for storing the data systematically in the form of rows and columns, isn't it? And then they can be fetched by various criteria. Recently, I was even teaching in B division. Even you will learn. From multiple tables, we can store data in n number of tables and we can relate that and get it. We can even calculate summary of the data. Like you will see in one of the database, customers data is in one table, orders data is in another table, items data is in another table. You can even produce a report which customer has placed order for which item and what is the total quantity, what is the amount, and it is dispatched from which warehouse. So there are 4 or 5 tables which you can combine and give. Anyways, so DBMS software are specialized to store and retrieve data. Clear? Now, when two different categories of software are there should be someone who is going to create a link between these two, isn't it? Now, when we talk about backend or database management system, it is not a single software. Now, which software you are learning in your lab? Which DBMS you are working in lab? Oracle, very good. At least one person answered. Last time, whenever we used to ask in Viva, which DBMS you are working with, in spite of working throughout the semester. So it is Oracle you are working with. There could be any other also like MySQL, SQL Server. Fine. Then there are modern, recently introduced database management system also. Front ends also. You are working with Java right now, but as you saw that Java is little tedious. Then you will have, if you are going to do web-based, you will use Dreamweaver. You will use like HTML based, many interfaces you might use. So when it comes to n number of different types of interfaces and n number of backends, there should be the one which creates a link between these two should be multilingual. In the sense what? When two people belong to two different countries, if you want a translator, you will expect the translator to know more than one language. Both the languages he should know. In fact, when you go to tourist places, guides you will see there, and guides are expected to know multiple languages. Whichever group of people come, you should, in their own language, if they interact, it will be easier. Similarly, the same thing happens here. Any number of backend, any number of front, any type of backend, any type of front end, the connectivity application should be able to interact and translate their request and responses to and fro. Clear? So with this thought, initial invention was of ODBC, which was called as Open Database Connectivity. What was it called as? Open Database Connectivity. So ODBC is a type of, you can say, interface, again through software only, which could connect any backend to any frontend. Then later on, people started realizing with enhanced versions of backend that they need a specialized kind of lines to connect. They cannot be managed with ODBC. Simple applications like MS Access can be managed with ODBC. But then when it comes to SQL Server, MySQL, all these expected a special kind of, what you can say, lines, which are called as drivers, you can say, drivers to drive them. Fine. So with that feature, or also there were some kind of limitations in ODBC when people invented Java. Java is platform independent. So Java also introduced a kind of connectivity software which was called as JDBC. And JDBC is said to be the enhanced version of ODBC. What is the full form of JDBC? Java Database Connectivity. J, Java, D, Database. JD, data, and DB is database. JDBC, connectivity. Clear? So, now, what is its use? I have displayed one journal program statement in front of you so that you understand how and where we are going to use this JDBC. So your journal program says, write a Java program that loads employee ID and name from the database. It takes a name and phone number as input and prints the corresponding other value from the hash table. Forget that hash right now. Clear? Now, here you are going to create employee ID and name from the database. You will be creating database in Oracle. So in this Java journal program, you are going to create a table and insert values in Oracle. Clear? From there, you are going to fetch the value on applet Java interface. How? There are employee number and name. When user gives either of the value, the other one should be fetched. When number is given, that number's name should be printed, and when name is given, number should be printed. So I just want you to glance on the program so that you get an idea of what exactly is JDBC here. We have created table in Oracle. You can see inserting values. I think these lines are clear to you, how to create a table. How many fields are there? How many fields are there in that table? Which is the table name? Employee. What is the field name? Name. Then PHN, no, phone number. Only do. I have taken both as varchar, particularly so that you don't have complications in translating or typecasting the data types. Okay, I've inserted values around 5. Now see how using Java we are trying to calculate. Look at the interface. Now you can imagine how Java Swing application can be created with 2 text fields, 2 labels, and 1 button. At least design part everybody will be able to do. Yes? Now, the moment I enter name and say retrieve, phone number will automatically be flashed here. How are we going to retrieve that? So this is the code. This is the design part where we have declared the components like label, text fields, and button. 2 labels, 2 text fields, and a button. Then in the constructor, I have initialized label with enter name, then text field with 10 size, another label with phone number, and text field with size 10. I've used flow layout. You can even use grid layout. Fine. I've added the components. Then I've added a button. I've made the button respond to the action listener by registering I feel this speed is okay, right? Yes? Okay. Then because this is a frame, I have set the size and visibility. If it would be applet, no need of setting the visibility and size. Clear? Yeah. Here I have used JFrame. Fine, it is not applet. So that's why visibility and size has to be set. Now here is in the action performed, I'm going to connect with the database. To connect with the database, we are using here. What is that we are using? JDBC. What is JDBC? Java Database Connect. Now this JDBC provided later on with enhancement of this JDBC, it provided separate drivers for each of the database backend. So here we are using a driver for Oracle. It's called as Oracle Thin. Fine. It's named as Oracle Thin. These drivers, remember, these are the specialized connectivity software. These are the specialized jar files which you need to know, which you need to have in your program. When you will execute this NetBeans, executing this program also is a little complicated procedure. You need this jar file to download from net. And these producers of backends like Oracle, or maybe the producers of Java, they give you this supporting file. When you search on the net, that Oracle JDBC connectivity jar file, you will get it. And they will give you different versions also based on the edition of Oracle you're using. Clear? So you have to exactly download the jar file, and then I have made a separate video of how to download and how to attach it to NetBeans. I will share that recording to you. Clear? So this is a downloaded jar file. After downloading, you have to give this path. Clear? Okay. You remember that in our lab to log into Oracle, what is the username? Default username, system, and password was GCC. Now you might have created your own username and password. So here, this is how we connect, establish the connection to Oracle. And after that, there are various other things. Now to understand what are these different steps, we have to move to theory. Now we will start learning JDBC. Clear? Okay. So let us go back to our theory. Now what is JDBC? Textbook definition. It is a standard Java API. What do you mean by API? Application Programming Interface. It is also a software. Fine. It is also an interface which easily makes you connect with front end and back end. Used to connect Java application with a database. JDBC is used to interact with various types of database such as Oracle, MS Access, MySQL, and SQL Server. Also more than this. It can also be defined as platform independent interface. This is important about JDBC. When it comes to ODBC, it may not be platform independent, but when you specifically define JDBC, platform independent is a special quality between a relational database and Java program. So here is diagrammatically shown. Databases, remember, in any diagrams henceforth up to your project or software engineering diagrams, you remember database is shown with the cylinder symbol. Clear? And this is Java application. To connect the Java application to database, we need to embed JDBC in our Java programs. Clear? Yeah. Now uses of JDBC. What is the first use? You read. What is the first use? execute SQL statement and retrieve result from the database, main heart of that. Then we can save, update, delete and fetch data from the database. Not only retrieve, we can even save. Like for example, if you have to insert into employee table, you will be able to insert through Java. You need not open Oracle, and you can go to Oracle and check all the records will be there. Clear? Yeah. So not only through SQL statement, but also through stored procedures. Stored procedures are small functions that you can write. Now, second part of your DBMS is actually PLSQL programming. Fine. PLSQL programming is procedural programming. In the sense, you can write functions, and through those functions, you can insert series of records. You can fetch series of records. You can filter the records and print. So in SQL, you may be typing 10 commands to take that record, insert the record, something like that. All those 10 commands can be stored in a procedure, and just call the procedure name, all those 10 commands get executed. So this is how JDBC can also call stored procedure, obtain metadata. Have you heard this term metadata in DBMS? What is metadata? Very important. It is data about data. When you learn characteristics of databases, metadata is data about data in simple terms. What do you mean by data about data? Like student table, when you create, when you create student table, in the background, it also stores your username and who created, when was it created. Clear? How many fields are there? Now, initially you might have created table without using constraint. What are the constraints? Primary key, foreign key. Maybe I'm taking you to in DBMS. Okay, fine. Forget that. Metadata is the additional information about the data other than what user has specified. This will be system generated, and system only maintains that data. Why that data will be required? It will be required for various reasons. One is when you have to take a backup and retrieve. Okay, simple example would be your WhatsApp backup. You just create WhatsApp messages, but that backup file and all is automatically created by your phone. If you give an instruction, frequent backups are automatically uploaded on the cloud. They are also downloaded when you take another mobile and just enter your user email address there, isn't it? In fact, recently I heard that there is something called as driver also, drive or something like that. Anyways, all the apps can be automatically installed. Forget that. So all this happens because your mobile or your Android app, whichever is your mobile, they are doing these additional services for you. So that is possible because they store some details about your WhatsApp. This is called as metadata. Anyways, so Java also can be, this JDBC also can retrieve your metadata. Actually, in your syllabus later on, 5 marks question will be asked. Give statements by which you can, fetch the metadata from JDBC. There are specialized statements. Unfortunately, I don't know up to how much detail you will be studying, but it is there in your syllabus. To fetch the data, separate statement. To fetch the metadata, there are separate methods. Clear? Ready-made methods are there. Fine. Then it is database independent, very important use. It contains the code that remains same across different database products. Changing to another database is easy. Through JDBC, it also becomes, and also because all the DBMS product like Access, MySQL, SQL Server, they are forced by some universal standard to maintain the uniformity among their storage. Clear? Because of that, suppose you have created a project today using Access. Tomorrow it had happened. I think I had shared you that example, my own experience. I did my PG through IGNOU. So that time I created my project using Access. Front end was Java. And then later on, when we reached there in Goa for demonstration, we got to know that Access is not allowed. They want compulsorily SQL server, which somehow I had missed reading that instruction. Then we had 2 days there. We had stayed there only. Then your Sagar Ulbatti sir was there. He also did MCA with me only. Manjunath sir, Manjunath Palankar sir, Sagar, we all are same batchmates of IGNOU. Then somehow with that help, immediately within a day, we transformed my database from Access to SQL Server. Fine. So with few lines of code, we could do that. So how it was possible? Because JDBC was there. So JDBC helps us to convert or change from one database product to another. Fine. Then it can be used with all types of Java programs such as application, applets, servlets. What are servlets? You will be learning again later. Java server pages. 2 journal programs you are based on JSPs. Then enterprise beans. So all this can be changed. Front end also can be changed. Back end also can be changed. Then JDBC library includes different APIs. Anyways, basic tasks of JDBC: making a connection to the database, creating SQL and MySQL statements. There are methods. Executing SQL and MySQL queries in the database. Again, there are various methods. Viewing and modifying the resulting records. Okay, I want you to read the difference and tell me. What is the full form of ODBC? JDBC? Which is the enhanced version you think? JDBC, of course. One reason, because it was introduced later. So it definitely must have worked on the limitations. Then we can use ODBC for any languages like C, C++, Java. JDBC is restricted for only Java. Why? Because it is platform independent, whereas other languages are platform dependent. So ODBC has some code which to work especially on platform dependent. So sometimes even ODBC is useful when JDBC cannot be worked. We can choose ODBC. There is some grammatical mistake only on Windows platform, whereas JDBC can be used even on console-based platform. Clear? For Java applications, ODBC is not recommended because performance will be down, whereas JDBC is specialized. ODBC is procedural, JDBC is object-oriented. Clear? 2 different approaches of programming we have learned. Now, architecture. If it would be descriptive question, this would be important question for 5 marks. This architecture is logical, it's not physical. आपके system के अंदर it is not, that diagram is not there or that structure is not there, it is logical. Now let's see what this architecture is made up of. It consists of basically 2 layers. One is JDBC API and JDBC driver API. This gives you connection application to JDBC and this JDBC manager to driver connection. Where these things lie? Let's see in the diagram. Your Java application will be here on top. Where is your database? At the bottom most layer. Fine. Now, each of these database, because they have their specialized drivers. In JDBC, only one file is specialized. JAR file is specialized to connect with individual databases. So here you have drivers. JDBC driver for Oracle, JDBC driver for SQL Server, JDBC driver even to connect with ODBC data sources. Fine. Then here is a driver manager which manages the connection between these drivers with APIs. Now these interfaces basically connect you to the front end. Clear with that? So basically there will be these 4 layers. Individual drivers are specialized which will connect you to the database. Driver manager will manage these individual drivers. It will take the information coming from any driver, then it will convert it into a common language. It will give it to JDBC API. From API, it will go to Java application. Clear? Now there are basically 7 steps which can be combined into 5 also, which are very much required in any program which you will use to connect Java application to database. How many total steps? 7 steps. Among these 7, sometimes they are clubbed with 2 and then it is formed with 5. So these 5 statements should be in your mind. What is their meaning and what is practically you're doing with that line. Clear? So let us see what is the first. Open a connection between DBMS and J2EE component, in the sense Java component. Why it is called a J2EE? Because it is Java to Enterprise Edition. Clear? Then translate low-level SQL statements sent by J2EE component into messages that can be passed to, that can be processed by DBMS. Return the data, return information such as error message, provide transaction management function. Transaction management means, you know, DBMS may multiple users can work with the database simultaneously. Like for example, you go to Big Bazaar, how many cash counters are there? So many. Everywhere, all of them are connecting to the same database, billing software. Kahan se bhi payment kar lo, it is going to your Big Bazaar account only. Forget about account. Through their database only it is updating. So it is distributed. Forget about those cash counters. There may be a manager who is sitting on top in some room. He may be viewing or he may also get the summary data. So when different people log in, and nowadays at least Big Bazaar is also online. So you can give your online orders. Later on, you may also do online payments. I mean, directly it may go there, something like that. Forget. What I am trying to tell is, what is mean by transaction management function? When multiple users try to access the same table, same data, you are also inserting, you are also ordering. 500 is the what you can say availability. You are trying to order some 300, other person is trying to order some 250. Is it possible? It will get over. So how, when both the orders are placed together, how does it manage that conflict? Whose order is rejected, whose order is placed? So for all that, there is a separate section of Oracle DBMS, which is not part of your syllabus, which is called as transaction management. In that, again, your operating system concepts will come: parallel processing, serial processing. You'll learn batch processing, all that. So again, those concepts are used there. Anyways, so transaction management also happens, closing the connection after the work is done. There are 4 driver types. This right now I will skip because it is not very useful for your practicals. It is useful only for the theory. And among these 4, actually, you will be using the third one, most commonly used, JDBC. So why to learn something which you are not going to use? Okay. Now this is important. Your JDBC components. What is the first component? Driver manager. This class, you are using this practically, yeah? So I'm covering this, which is the first class. There are various interfaces and classes in this. Ready-made interfaces and ready-made classes. As for applets and event handling Swing, you use ready-made classes like J button, J checkboxes. Pranay, are you here? Similarly, here ready-made classes are there. First class, which is of very much important to us, is driver manager. This class manages a list of database drivers. Now you can imagine in that diagram you had Oracle, you had SQL Server, and each of them had their drivers. Who manages this? Driver manager. What is driver manager? It's a built-in class. Clear? Under one package. Fine, we'll come to that. Now, it matches the connection request from the Java application with the proper database driver. So it does translation job. Then there is driver class. This interface, it's not the class, it's interface. It handles the communication with the database server. We use driver manager object to do this task. We create a object of this driver manager to execute some methods. Which method? We will come to that in practicals. Then there is connection. This interface also provides some abstract methods which you override. Fine. For connecting to a database, all communications with the database is done through connection object. Then, see actually how it is. I'll show you with the annotation quickly. This is your Oracle. Inside Oracle, you might have multiple users. Like in the lab itself, you have created your own user. There could be multiple tables and multiple databases. So suppose your database is somewhere here. So first is you have to connect with Oracle. So who does that job? Driver manager. Clear? Driver manager and in fact driver both together just connect to this outer wall. Now when you are connected to outer, you have entered BCA building. Inside BCA building, you have to come to this classroom. So to come to this classroom, that means to come to particular database, you have to use connection object. So connection object will allow you to establish a connection with a particular database. Clear? So it will connect to the particular database inside a particular Oracle software. Fine, for example. So you will be connecting to this. Then after connecting to the database, you have to execute SQL statements. So for that next class we'll be using, which is that statement class. Now after executing the SQL statement, Oracle has a storage capacity. Inside Java, when the SQL statements are executed, you know when individual items are stored, you declare some variables. But here, it is not individual. When you fetch the data from the database, it is a table. Multiple rows and columns are fetched. So to keep that, you should have a container. So to create a container, you use the next class, which is that result set. So result set is a temporary class which exists in your Java application to store the result which is fetched from your Oracle. So result set class, you have to create its object to store the data. Again, they are of different types. Okay. Once the result set is created, then you can display it using for loop or using your text field, etc. Set text, wahan se data leke you can even display it anywhere on any component. So basically, these are the objects which you will be working with. Other than that, there is also another class which you will be working, that is SQL exception. If any problem occurs, what could be the problem? And you know that Java, there are two types of exception, checked and unchecked. What are checked exceptions? Those will be forced by Java. Forced upon user by Java. That means Java will force that whenever that situation comes, you must use try and catch. If you don't use try and catch, it will not compile only. Clear? And certain other situations Java handles on its own. Clear? So, such exceptions which are checked at the compile time only are called a checked exception. So here in database connectivity also, it will force you to use try and catch. You know why? Because there are chances of exception. Why? Like user will specify a path that I want to connect to this Oracle and this is the table name. There are 99% chances that user misspells the table name or he gives wrong path. Clear? You have created student table and you might have given the command that display the records from students table through Java. It is searching for the table students, but actual table name is student. That may be possible. So because of that, this SQL exception class is a must for JDBC connectivity practical programs. Without that, it will not allow you to write a program. Clear? So all these classes, which all classes will you be using? Driver manager, driver, then connection, statement, result set, SQL exception. Fine? Yeah. I think that's sufficient for now. Students who are attending online can give you attendance. Cyprus, you can take the attendance and pass on. So when is your next lab? Monday, na Java's. Okay. I will share the recording with you of practical execution, not of theory. Now, before you go to that practical class, these are the steps actually. You will load the driver, you will connect to the DBMS, executing the statement processing. Forget about that lines of code, whether you understand or not. But at least the procedure, because procedure may what all things you have to do is you have to go to NetBeans. And in NetBeans left side, you have to attach that jar file. So how to attach that jar file? Please listen to the recordings and come. Even though in the lab, instructors might have connected those jar files for you or not, you should be able to know. Clear? So listen to that recording and come. In Monday's lab, we will try to execute this JDBC. I will explain the program there, but at least the procedure you learn and come. Clear? Yeah. Okay, listen. For your internal, we will include the syllabus. Listen. We will include the syllabus up to this common JDBC components. Entire swing and this JDBC component. Event handling was already covered in first internal, right? So swing and this.